depths of an ancient forest, veiled in perpetual twilight, there stood a forgotten village. This village, known as Crepuscule Hollow, was a place of eerie silence, where even the bravest souls dared not tread. Legends spoke of a malevolent curse that had befallen the village, casting it into an endless night. The story begins with a young traveler, Elara, who, driven by her insatiable curiosity and love for ancient folklore, ventured into the forest to uncover the truth behind the village's dark past. She journeyed through the dense woods, her path illuminated only by the faint glow of her lantern. As Elara approached the outskirts of Crepuscule Hollow, a chilling wind whispered through the trees, carrying with it faint, disembodied voices. The village itself was a ghostly sight, with dilapidated houses and overgrown streets. The air was thick with an oppressive aura, as if the very atmosphere was laden with the despair of the village's long-gone inhabitants. Undeterred, Elara delved deeper into the village. She noticed strange symbols etched onto the walls of the houses, their meanings lost to time. In the heart of the village stood an ancient chapel, its once holy ground now tainted with a sinister presence. The chapel's door creaked open at her touch, revealing a dimly lit interior where dust-laden pews and a defiled altar lay. As she explored the chapel, Elara discovered an old tome, its pages brittle and worn. The tome detailed the village's history and the curse that befell it. Centuries ago, the villagers, in their greed and desperation, had performed a forbidden ritual, seeking prosperity. Instead, they invoked a malevolent entity, a being of shadow and malice that consumed their souls and condemned the village to eternal darkness. Elara, realizing the gravity of the situation, decided to leave. But as she turned to exit, the chapel door slammed shut, engulfed by an unnatural darkness. She heard the soft, eerie lullaby of a music box, growing louder as a shadowy figure materialized before her. This figure, the manifestation of the curse, whispered of untold horrors and unspeakable truths, its voice a chilling caress against her mind. Terrified but determined, Elara searched for an escape, her breaths coming in short gasps. The entity, a wraith-like creature with hollow eyes, glided towards her, its form shifting and twisting in the dim light. Elara felt a cold, suffocating dread envelop her as the creature reached out with its insubstantial hands, whispering her name in a voice that was both alluring and horrifying. Just as its fingers brushed against her, Elara's lantern flickered, casting a brief, intense light that forced the creature to recoil. Seizing the moment, Elara dashed towards the chapel's stained glass window, breaking through it and tumbling onto the cold ground outside. Wounded and terrified, she fled through the village, the wraith's mournful cries echoing in her ears. As she neared the edge of the forest, a dense fog rolled in, obscuring her path. Lost and disoriented, Elara stumbled upon an old well, its dark waters reflecting the moonless sky above. It was then that she heard the soft, sorrowful whispers of the village's lost souls emanating from the well. They spoke of their regrets, their unending torment, and pleaded for release from their eternal prison. Elara, moved by their plight, knew she could not leave them to suffer. Gathering her courage, she decided to delve deeper into the heart of the curse, to find a way to free the souls and end the village's eternal night. Little did she know, the path she chose would lead her into a realm of nightmares where the boundaries between reality and the abyss blurred into oblivion. Continuing her harrowing journey, Elara ventured back into the heart of Crepuscule Hollow. Guided by the whispers of the trapped souls, she made her way to an ancient crypt hidden beneath the chapel. The entrance was overgrown with thorny vines, and the air was thick with the scent step she took, the oppressive silence of the village weighed heavier upon her. Inside the crypt, Elara found a labyrinth of tunnels and chambers, each adorned with the remnants of the village's past, old relics, forgotten symbols, and bones of the long dead. The shadows seemed to move and whisper, watching her every step. As she navigated through the winding passages, the echoes of a haunting melody led her to a hidden chamber deep within the crypt. In the center of this chamber stood an ancient altar, atop which lay a mysterious artifact, a crystal emitting a faint, pulsating light. This crystal, Elara realized, was the heart of the curse, the source of the village's eternal night. The Wraith, sensing her presence, materialized before her once more, its form more terrifying and imposing than before. It spoke in a voice that resonated with the pain and anguish of 1,000 souls, revealing the truth of its existence. It was not just a harbinger of the curse, but also its prisoner, bound to the crystal and forced to relive the village's downfall for eternity. Elara understood that to break the curse and free the souls, she had to destroy the crystal. But the Wraith warned her of the consequences. The crystal's destruction would unleash a cataclysmic force, capable of consuming both the living and the dead. Faced with an impossible choice, Elara's resolve wavered. The whispers of the trapped souls grew louder, pleading for release, for peace. With a heavy heart, Elara decided to sacrifice her own safety for the sake of the countless souls trapped in torment. As she prepared to shatter the crystal, the Wraith lunged at her in a final act of desperation, its screams echoing through the crypt. Elara, with a swift movement, struck the crystal with all her might. A blinding light erupted, engulfing the chamber and shattering the silence of the village. The explosion of light and energy sent Elara reeling. She felt herself being torn from the crypt, hurtling through a vortex of screaming souls and collapsing shadows. The Wraith's cries faded into a final, sorrowful whisper as it was released from its eternal bondage. Elara emerged from the crypt, finding herself outside, under a night sky now adorned with stars. The village, freed from the curse, began to slowly vanish, its buildings and streets dissolving into mist, as if they were never there. She stood alone in the clearing, the forest now peaceful, and the air fresh with the promise of dawn. The souls of Crepuscule Hollow, finally at peace, ascended into the night sky, their whispers of gratitude fading into the ether. Elara, exhausted but fulfilled, made her way back through the forest. The experience had changed her, imbuing her with a deeper understanding of the delicate balance between light and darkness, life and death. As she left the forest behind, the first rays of the sun peeked over the horizon, casting a warm golden light over the land. Crepuscule Hollow was no more, but its memory and the bravery of a young traveler who dared to face the unknown would live on forever in the whispers of the wind and the stories of those who seek to uncover the mysteries hidden in the shadows of the world.